Welcome to Cities on the Move. I'm your host, Stephanie Passingham. Northwood, Iowa has a strong musical heart. Today we meet the group Stone Soup, a local bluegrass gospel band. We also stop in to Ty's Music Room. Barbara Madsen has created a season of performances featuring opera, an Irish folk harp, jazz, and more. Northwood also has a proud tradition in sports. Kim Henniger joins us to describe the proposed athletic complex for the school district. We'll have all this and more. Stay tuned for Cities on the Move. Stone Soup is a fun-loving group with an inspirational message. These 9 individuals come together with beautiful harmony to perform bluegrass and old-time gospel songs. Let's listen.
Christ has gone a home to prepare up beyond the blue sky. It must be so wondrously fair, never seen by mortal eye. We know soon he's coming again from his heavenly throne.
I think when the Worth County Fair Board asked 2 different churches to perform a church service, ecumenical church service at fairgrounds, and neither one knew that they'd asked another church. So we showed up together and thought it'd be fun. We might as well play together, and it started after that. We had fun. There was magic there. So.
The Stone Soup comes from a legend in Europe about soldiers trying to make their way home after a battle. And so they they didn't have any money, so they had to live off the good graces of people who lived on their way back home. And they stopped in a town, and nobody wanted to help them, so they made this stone soup, and gradually they kind of talked everybody into pitching into the soup, and it worked out really good. So that's what we have here. We have a group of people who, from various backgrounds, various skill levels, various musical talents, various likes and dislikes, and we've gotten together, put ourselves into one big pot, and this is what we've got.
It's gospel, and we have bluegrass, and we have traditional gospel music, and some of it is some stuff that some people in our group have wrote themselves, and we have a mixture, a little bit of everything.
One of the songs I did was we had another couple that was part of our group, and of course we would pray before each event and at practice, and it was so easy for them to pray, so I wrote a song, and it's difficult for me to I stick my foot in my mouth too many times, so I wrote a song expressing that desire to learn how to pray.
Well, I haven't been with the group that long, and it's just, I think that any musician, not only just, gospel or religious, needs an outlet, and so I'm new to town and was invited to come and play with them. And I think a musician without an outlet to use that God-given talent is usually pretty sad. So I guess that's why I'm so happy.
Earlier this summer, we were up at Dodge Center, Minnesota, I believe, when the kids started to dance in the aisle. And they were having a good time, and you could see the parents, they were getting a little bit upset because the kids would, hey, let them do it. If that's their thing and they enjoy it that much, have at it, fine.
A lot of our songs are a lot of fun. That's why we pick them. They either mean something to us or we have fun doing them. And that's our choice, I guess, as musicians.
There are times when we sing some real serious song, and when we get to some of the real tough stuff, you can look out in the audience and see tears. So, you get a range of emotions from the audience.
That first song and that first thing, what you're trying to do is through the music, through your attitude, put your arms around the people that are in that group. And as long as we do that, they respond. You know, sometimes it takes some people longer to respond for others, but by and large, we have been totally blessed by the response of the audience to us.
Well, today we're going to learn a little bit more about the Northwood, Kansas schools. The Booster Club is taking a look at a new athletic complex, and our special guest today is Kim Henniger. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
All right, well, let's start a little bit by describing the school district. Tell us a little bit about enrollment, what communities are involved in this district.
Okay, sure. Northwood Kensett obviously involves Northwood and Kensett. It's a K through 12. There's 2 schools. K through 6 is our elementary, and 7 through 12 is the high school. It's a total enrollment of about 520 students.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
That's.
And it sounds like you have a nice booster club that's very active in supporting the schools.
Yes, we are. We do a lot for the different athletes and different fundraisers and things like that to raise money for the coaches' wish lists, and we have different tournaments throughout the year to just help raise money to give back to the kids.
Great. And it sounds like you have undertaken a pretty major initiative this time.
Well, yeah.
All right.
Somewhat.
So the Booster Club has developed a steering committee. Can you tell us a little bit about the folks that are involved in this project?
Okay, yeah, sure. I was approached by our principal at the high school and the athletic director to see if we couldn't come up with some committee to help raise money for this athletic complex. And we put together some parents just in the community that have kids that either are in elementary and in the high school that would be interested in having a new complex for their kids. So that's kind of how it got it started.
All right. Athletic complex sounds so big and so large, and so give us a basic description of the facilities as they exist now, and then let's talk about how those would change and what improvements and expansions you hope to make.
All right, sure. What we have now is your football field and track with bleachers for both home and visitor. Right now the track is in rough shape. A regulation type track is 8 lanes. We can get 6 in there. They kind of only stick with 6 lanes because of the inside and outside barriers that are basically falling apart, so they don't want a lot of people on the inside outside. There that too many people running on the track, so they keep it to 6. Other than that, the football field will stay, obviously, there. And then with the track complex, we're going to include a new high jump, the new long jump, some discus, and shot put area as well.
Okay, so some new features as
well.
You bet,
yeah.
All right. And I understand you're going to make some changes or upgrading to the bleachers as well?
Yes, yes. We would like to take the bleachers that we have now are on the ground where it's hard for fans to watch, because a lot of the players, they stand obviously during the game and are up and down the field wherever the play is on the field. So what we'd like to do with this new complex is bring the bleachers up and off the ground, probably 5 feet or so.
Okay.
And it'll be a handicap accessible ramp that gets you up to the bleachers where everybody can see the play and what's going on out on the track field versus the football field.
Sure.
So it's just easier for the fans to watch and to see.
Because that's a pretty big space, too.
You bet, absolutely, yes.
All right. And it sounds like there have been some technology changes, too, with surfaces that are available to help athletes just from a physical standpoint, too. Talk a little bit about how your track is going to change in substance.
Yes, yes. Right now the track is a beat-up gravel, so to speak. It's been there since... 1960, early 1960s is when the high school was built and when the track was put in. So it needs to be upgraded. The new track will be whatever I guess the school board decides. But there's different services as far as with rubbers and using whatever technology that they have to make it softer when the kids run and jump and that sort of thing, for it's easier on their bodies.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. All right. Now this is a pretty big goal. Have you guys established a budget for what you hope to get the complex built for?
Yes, we have. It's we've set a goal for $507,000 is what we've set our goal at, and with a third of that coming from the school, a third of it coming from alumni, and a third of it from different businesses, local and outside businesses, to help with the raising of the money.
Right. And I understand you've already talked to the school district, and they have pledged
yes,
for the project?
School district has asked of what we needed, and they fulfilled that. So we are well on our way to meeting our goal. Yeah, we're quite excited about it.
Great.
Yeah.
All right. And it sounds like, I understand, the school made an additional commitment to upgrade some of the other infrastructure, lights.
Yes, they did put in some new football lights that needed to be put in. So, and as they put those football lights in, they saw that the plans we had made for the athletic complex and stationed those lights so that they wouldn't have to be moved again once this complex went in. So the school has put in new lights as well that will work out
Will
nice.
the size of the track itself change?
It will become a little bit bigger, yes. Yeah, it'll be shifted just a little bit to the, if I'm correct, to this, got to think of my directions, south and to the east just a little bit. And then the bleachers will shift back to the northwest. So, yeah.
Okay, great. And in terms of fundraising, you got a nice pledge from the school. They met the request that you had asked of them. Where else are funds coming from, and what are some of the gaps that you see and the kind of help that you might like from the community?
Oh, we would love any kind of help. That would be swell. Our local bank contributed quite a large sum, and then we are getting the local insurance company did well also with a donation. So, and just now we've been getting, within the last 3 weeks, we've sent out alumni letters to people that have graduated, obviously, from the Northwood Kensett school system or the Northwood school or Kensett, whichever, how
long ago it was.
Yes, exactly. And those things have been coming in as well, too. So we, right now, we're sitting at just half of what we need we've already raised, so we're quite excited about it.
That's great.
Quite excited.
And nice donations that come in from alumni. You know, folks should remember they don't have to send thousands of dollars.
Right.
They'll take any amount.
You bet, exactly. $250 will get you on our monument that we're going to make of granite that will show everybody that has donated to make this all possible.
All right. Any partners that you guys are working with in the community besides the school district, obviously, to help gain support and move forward on this project?
Oh, anybody and everybody. Not, I guess, specifically, do we have any real partners? We're just all working together as a group and going out and talking to who we need to talk to get what we need.
All right, great. Yeah. What kind of timetable have you guys laid out for this project?
We would love to start construction on this the spring of 2012. So when this track season gets over for 2012, we're ready to jump in and get things started so it's all ready for the fall season of football. Yeah.
Have you had a chance to talk to any contractors in terms of how long will it take to upgrade and renovate the facility? Will it be ready for football in the fall then?
It sure should be, because whoever put the original track in, underneath it's all what needs to be there is there. So it's just to level out what we take out the existing top and then just put rubber or whatever the new surface on. It's all ready to be dived into, I guess. So.
All right, sounds good. If folks have questions, is there a place, a website, any place that they can go to learn more about it? I know you've had some articles in the local papers that have talked a little bit about it.
Yes, we do have a site. The Booster Club has a site on the Northwood Kensett School District's web. You can always question. We're trying to have a question answer within the community as well. Now when this next track season is over, where people are out and about on our track more, we are going to try and have like a question and answer type sort of thing for the community to come in and listen and ask questions as to why we need to have this done.
Yep, and maybe see the condition.
Exactly.
Will they get a tour then of the facility to take a look?
Yep,
okay.
yep.
Right. Are any of those planned coming up here in the next few weeks, or mostly scheduled for next spring?
Most of that will be probably for next spring.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's getting, basically the football is played on, it's dealt with now, and it's just would be, we figured once the kids were on there running and doing what they do on a track field and noticing why we're where we're at, it would be more conscious of why we need to have a new track for the kids.
All right. Aside from the obvious health implications of it's better for their joints to run on a smooth, safe surface that
Yes.
has a little bit more cushion, why do upgraded facilities matter to a school district and to the folks that send their kids there?
Oh, it's so huge. It would benefit Northwood in so many ways. I mean, as far as the school, obviously, right now, we have maybe 4 track meets on our facility because it isn't an all-weather state track. We've taken a lot of our competitions to Nashville because that is the only school in our district that has the all-weather track.
Okay.
So bringing that all-weather athletic complex would benefit this, just having that many more people in the community and using it. There will be an 8th lane that will be considered a walking lane, so people, during the day, if they need to get out and walk, they can use that for a walk and exercise. And there's just tons of reasons why this is important.
A good idea.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Great. Well, and infrastructure is always a nice addition to the community, as you mentioned,
absolutely.
for folks outside of the school district as well as those with kids attending.
Right. Right.
Give us a sense of how long you're raising funds now. Is there a certain number you need to reach before you can start construction?
We need to reach all of it before we can start construction. It isn't a project that can be done as far as stages go. We need to have it all raised before we can get started.
Okay.
So that's what our goal is for 2012. If we could get it before then, we'd be jumping through.
And could you start early then if you had the funds before then, or would you pretty much kind of have that spring of 2012 target?
Well, I think if we could get those funds that we needed and asked for, we could start in the spring after whatever year it would happen to be. Yeah, but that's our basic goal, is 2012. If we could go in 2011, that would be super.
It's coming up soon, isn't
yes,
it?
it is.
Yeah, we don't
yes,
think
it
about
is.
that.
Yes, it is.
If folks would like to make a contribution or a business would like to contact someone to find out how they might make a contribution, where should people mail the check to? We want to make sure we give folks an address.
Okay, right. You can mail your contributions to, it's Northwood Athletic Complex, P.O. Box 26, Northwood, Iowa, 50459.
Okay.
And if you want to contact and talk to somebody, our president of our committee is Corey Olson, and our vice president is Gary Henniger. Do you phone numbers?
Sure, that would be great.
Corey's phone number is, Corey's phone number is 390-1865, and Gary's phone number is 390-0752.
Great.
All right.
Sounds good. And the sports that will be utilizing this facility again are?
It'll be track and football, basically.
Okay.
But we're looking, as far as community projects, we're looking at the Relay for Life is something that would really be, I think, fun to have up there. And just, we're hoping for a lot of different things that can come in and use that.
Great.
But that basically is the track and the football.
Sounds good. Well, it sounds like you have a very enthusiastic committee that is working on this project. If you are from the Northwood, Kensett area and you are interested in making a contribution or at least learning a little bit more about what this complex is and how it will help the community and the school district, be sure to get a hold of the folks that Kim mentioned. And if you are from another community and want to learn a little bit more about how you get something like this rolling, it sounds like you guys have done a good job with your organization.
Thank you.
I'm sure they wouldn't mind giving you a few pointers as well. Thank you so much for coming in and visiting with us today.
Thank you.
All right. Stay tuned for more Cities on the Move. Barbara Madsen was thinking about how she could expose her piano students to high-caliber musicians. The idea of Ty's Music Room took shape. Now anyone can enjoy a wide range of musical talents in a beautiful and intimate concert setting. Let's take a look.
Music, like radiant ribbon, weaves through lives. gentle ties sustain a day beyond its time. These beautiful words introduce the description of the 2010-2011 inaugural season for Ty's Music Room in Northwood, Iowa. Ty's Music Room is the creative design of Barbara Madsen, a local music teacher and music lover. She describes how this idea was born.
It's very difficult for me to remember exactly how the idea of the music room started, the very initial beginning. I know it's connected to my piano students. They are so interested in music and so impressed when I play a song which does not deserve such admiration, because I'm certainly not a performer. And I guess in part that's what made me start thinking about how wonderful it would be for piano students to have an opportunity to hear truly wonderful musicians.
As a result, the concert series was born.
Parts. I called it the treble season and the bass season as a way of really setting it up so people could buy half of a season ticket if one. You know, we're in a farming community, and sometimes one season is much better for people than others, so I guess that was in the back of my mind. Single tickets are also available, but the upcoming performer in October is a jazz alto sax player from Iowa State. In November, we have a soprano from Cedar Rapids coming, so vocalist. And in December, a marimba player, percussionist. So quite a variety of people coming in. That's just before Christmas. So.
The season continues with additional concerts after the first of the year. As Barbara was developing her season, she was pleased to find the performers were enthused about playing in a smaller venue.
I found most of musicians who have been invited to play at the music room by contacting the universities, making some connections with people. They're very helpful. And also the Iowa Arts Council, basically just networking and getting on the phone and talking to people, and one would lead to another, and so forth. So it was an interesting adventure. As I visited with each of the musicians, as I contracted with them to come, made arrangements, that was one of the criteria that in the back of my mind I was thinking about and watching for, was how are they reacting to this idea? Are they excited about it? And they were.
September performers Rick and Claudia Stanley concur.
The faces of the audience, and so the smaller venues, you have the acoustics are better, and you have more contact with the audience. So.
It all stems from the old 60s folk revival, you know, and we all, back then in Boston, we just played in the coffee houses, and the people were all around you, and you could see them if they were liking it, you could see what they liked, you'd know what to play next, and it was very intimate, and you could, if you sang a lament, you'd see people weeping, and it would just get you deeper. And
audience members seem to appreciate the intimacy as well. Barbara has seating for 54 guests for each performance. Afterwards, guests enjoy a wine reception with the artists, furthering the personal touch.
I'm hoping that this will be an asset to Northwood and to the community, because it offers something new and different, not something that has been here for people to enjoy. It's nice, I believe, to be able to come and listen to the musicians that have this level of expertise without having to travel. I also think that it connects people over a shared experience. Shared interest is just one more thing to do, one more interest to share. And I also think that it enlarges. Wouldn't meet. I like that too.
Barbara Madsen, keeping Northwood, Iowa, a city on the move.
And now for our calendar of events. For those of you who enjoyed our story about the Betsy Tacy homes, you can visit author Maud Hart Lovelace's childhood home on September 25th and see where the beloved Betsy Tacy book series began. Step back in time as you take a stroll through Betsy and Tacy's neighborhood. Costume guides will lead the walk with stops at the homes of the Betsy Tacy characters. At each home, you will be greeted by costumed reenactors. For more information, contact Jackie Hilgert at 507-345-9777. The Homemade Apple Cider and Donut Day will be held at the Kinney Pioneer Museum on October 3rd in Mason City, Iowa. Homemade cider is made with their 100-year-old apple press and served hot or cold with homemade donuts. Enjoy special exhibits, demonstrations, and an apple product bake sale. Hours are 1 to 5 p.m. Admission is $3 for adults and $1 for children under 12. For more information, call 641-423-1258. On October 9th and 10th, join Winona County Historical Society guides on a tour of sites in the beautiful Woodlawn Cemetery. This is Winona's oldest cemetery, and this year the theme is healthcare in the late 1800s. Not only will attendees learn about the lives of the people they meet on the tour, but also about the health issues and medical practices of the turn of the century. A soldier will tell his escape from death in a Civil War battle only to be taken by the grip. A doctor will discuss his treatment plan for families who were losing infants to the summer complaint, and other stories of medical practice, strange diseases, and freak accidents. Reserve your seat by calling 507-454-2723, extension 0, prior to the event because space is limited. If you have an event to share with our viewers, log on to ksmq.org and post it today. Next week on Cities on the Move, we revisit an old favorite episode from Season 3 featuring Bob Bardwell from Iron Springs Ranch, the Sleep in a Box event held in Mason City, which raises money for the homeless shelter in town, and the Boyhood Farm of Dr. Norman Borlaug near Cresco, Iowa. Please join us Tuesday, September 28th at 6:30 p.m. on KSMQ for another edition of Cities on the Move. I'm your host, Stephanie Passingham. Good night.
Music with my friends. Loving God, loving each other, and the story never ends.
Production of this program is made possible in part through a grant from the Blandon Foundation.